The wind howled through the California forest like 1,000 lost souls calling out for mercy. Under the blood-red sunset, a silence fell, the kind that precedes something ancient, something hungry. Deep within the forest's heart, beyond where trails end and GPS dies, stood a clearing blanketed in mist. Here, shadows weren't cast, they moved. And in the center of those restless shades slept a creature older than history itself, a female beast, her fur black as midnight oil, her eyes burning with molten gold. Her name had long been forgotten, buried under centuries of fear and myth. Locals whispered of her, the Wandara, the shapeshifter of California woods. She could shift her body into any form. A young woman, a wounded deer, or the very mist that surrounded her domain. But she was cursed, bound to these woods by an ancient spell older than the redwoods themselves. For thousands of years, she hunted the foolish who wandered too far. Hikers, campers, drifters, none ever returned. Yet tonight, the air trembled with a new scent, youth, laughter, and arrogance. A van rolled to a stop near the forbidden zone. 6 teenagers, loud, fearless, and blind to the danger around them, stepped out with their phones and cameras. They didn't believe in legends. They believed in content. They were here to film their night in the haunted California forest. But the forest was already awake and watching. As the last light of dusk faded, 2 glowing eyes opened beneath the roots of an ancient oak. The beast smiled. The hunt had begun. The forest grew darker faster than any of them expected. By the time the last orange light of sunset slipped behind the pines, the campsite was swallowed by a shadow that moved like breath. The teenagers huddled near the fire, its flames snapping and twisting in the cold wind that crept down from the ridges. Maya, the group's self-proclaimed bravest, poured whiskey into a tin mug and smirked at the boys. "All right," she said, holding the cup up like a ritual offering. "Who's ready for the firelight game?" Her friends groaned but leaned closer. There were 6 of them: Maya, her brother Luke, his girlfriend Amber, a quiet kid named Jay, and the twins, Nick and Noah. They were all 20-something, all city kids from Los Angeles who thought a weekend in the California wilds would be a detox from screens. But even the forest seemed to hum differently tonight. The air carried a sound none of them could name, something low, almost like a growl, but too distant to feel real. Maya took the first turn. "Okay, Rule 1. You tell the scariest true story you know. Rule 2. You can't back out once you start." Luke rolled his eyes. "We're surrounded by 200 miles of trees, wolves, and no signal. Everything's already scary." "Then make it worse," Maya said, grinning. Amber started. Her voice trembled as she spoke about a girl who vanished in a forest in Oregon. Her last photo was of herself, smiling, but behind her, in the shadows, 2 glowing eyes looked straight at the camera. The group chuckled uneasily. Jay's turn came next. He spoke about a local myth, the mirror wolf. "They say," he began, "there's something in the forests of Northern California. A creature that can mimic your face. Like exactly your face. It watches people, learns how they move, talk, breathe. And when it's ready, it replaces them." Nick tossed a twig into the fire. "Yeah, right. Bro, sounds like every campfire ghost story." But the forest listened. Somewhere beyond the circle of firelight, something moved, a slow, deliberate step that made the dry leaves sigh. The twins turned together, eyes scanning the dark. Only the whisper of wind answered. Luke laughed nervously. "Dear," he said, "relax. But Jay's eyes didn't move from the shadows. He felt it, that prickle in the spine when something unseen watches you. They drank more, told more stories, laughed louder to drown the strange silence between the trees. The fire hissed, and sparks drifted up like dying stars. Then Amber froze. "Did you guys hear that?" she whispered. "What?" Maya asked, looking around. Amber pointed toward the edge of light. It sounded like she stopped. From the darkness came a voice, a perfect copy of hers. It sounded like her exact words, exact tone, repeated back from the forest. Everyone went silent. The fire cracked. Jay's hands trembled around his cup. Luke stood, shining his flashlight into the woods. "Who's there?" No answer. Just trees, and the faintest shimmer of mist between them. Maya forced a laugh. "Maybe it's an echo. Or a prank." "Nick, Noah, did you?" But both twins shook their heads. Luke muttered, "This isn't funny anymore." Then the flashlight beam caught movement, a pale face between the trunks. A woman's face. For a heartbeat, they thought it was another camper. Her skin glowed like moonlight, eyes too bright, lips too still. Then, impossibly, the face shifted. Bones realigned beneath skin, the jaw stretching, the eyes narrowing, until the face looked exactly like Luke's. Luke stumbled back. The light flickered over the woman's body, tall, lean, draped in something that looked like fur and shadow. Her mouth curved into a smile that wasn't human. Amber screamed. The creature moved with a sudden grace, like a ripple through water, then vanished. Not ran, vanished. The woods went utterly silent again. Jay whispered, "The mirror wolf." No one laughed this time. They spent the rest of the night with weapons, a hatchet, a knife, a burning log, anything they could hold. But the forest pressed closer, branches creaking like voices. Somewhere, deep in the dark, something breathed. And every now and then, they heard their own voices echo back. By dawn, the fire was nothing but ash. Smoke hung low across the campsite, mingling with the mist that rolled through the forest like a living thing. The group hadn't slept. None of them dared. Every snapping twig, every rustle of wind made their nerves twitch. Luke's flashlight had died hours ago. Jay's phone was gone. He swore it had vanished while he was holding it. Maya wanted to pack up and leave, but the trail markers they'd placed the day before were missing. Every direction looked the same. Tall redwoods, moss-covered trunks, and endless fog. They were trapped, not by distance, but by something stranger. Amber sat by the cold fire pit, her knees pulled up, whispering. She looked like me. Her voice cracked, empty. She was me. Maya glanced at Luke. "We're leaving. I don't care if we get lost. We follow the river until we hit the road." "Agreed," Luke said, though his voice lacked conviction. The twins gathered their packs. One of them, Nick, kept muttering about how the creature had changed its face. "It's some kind of experiment," he said. "Maybe a government project, or something living in the woods too long." But Jay didn't buy it. "It's not tech," he said softly. "It's ancient. It's the forest itself." They started walking, following the faint sound of running water through the fog. Every step echoed strangely, like someone else walked behind them, a half-beat delay that made them keep turning back. Nothing was there. After about an hour, they reached a clearing where sunlight cut through the mist. It should have been comforting, but it wasn't, because in the center of the clearing stood a wooden totem, tall, cracked, and carved with shapes that resembled human faces twisted in fear. Around its base lay bones, polished white as marble. Amber gagged. "Animal bones, right?" Jay crouched down, brushing dirt from one of them. His expression darkened. These aren't animal. The totem's eyes, if that's what they were, had been painted with something reddish-black. Dried long ago. Nick whispered, "Someone's been here." "No," Jay replied. "Something's been here." A sound broke the stillness, a low growl, not far away. Deep, resonant, not from a normal throat. Luke motioned for silence. The group froze. The growl came again, closer this time. The twins gripped their hatchets. Maya reached for the flare gun. From the trees, a shape moved. Fast, four-legged at first, then standing upright in a grotesque motion, bones snapping as it rose. The creature stepped into the light. It was the woman from last night. But now, her body shimmered between forms, one moment human, the next something else entirely. A beast with silver fur that rippled like liquid. Her eyes glowed amber. Her mouth was wrong, too wide, too full of teeth. "Who are you?" Maya shouted, raising the flare gun. The creature tilted its head, almost curious. Then, in Maya's voice, it said, "Who are you?" Luke fired the flare. A blinding streak of red light hit the creature square in the chest, but instead of burning, it absorbed it. The glow sank into her body, illuminating veins beneath her skin like fire and glass. Then she smiled, not a human smile, but a predator's. She lunged. The twins swung their hatchets, but the creature moved with impossible speed. One moment she was in front of them, the next behind. Nick screamed as claws slashed his back. Blood hit the ferns in a mist. Luke grabbed Amber and ran. Maya fired another flare, missing. Jay turned to help Nick, but froze. The beast had already taken his shape. Another Nick stood before him, bleeding but smiling. Jay stepped back. "No." The creature spoke in Nick's voice. "It's okay, man. We can go home." Jay bolted. He didn't stop running until his lungs burned. He could hear his friends screaming behind him, then silence. He stumbled into another clearing, gasping. The fog parted for a moment, revealing something impossible. A massive tree stood there, roots curling like snakes, its trunk split open like a gaping wound. Inside the hollow, faint golden light pulsed, alive, like a heartbeat. Jay felt something pulling him toward it. The whisper of voices, ancient, layered, neither human nor animal, called from within the roots. He took a step forward, and the forest exhaled. The air grew thick, cold, watching, and from behind him, the sound of footsteps, light, deliberate, and familiar. "Jay." He turned. Maya stood there, smiling, but her eyes were amber. The silence after Maya spoke was heavier than any scream could have been. Jay's breath came out ragged, white mist curling in the frigid air. The light from the hollowed tree pulsed, slow, rhythmic, like the world's oldest heartbeat. "Maya," he whispered, backing away. Her smile didn't move. It stayed frozen, stretched, too symmetrical. Then, softly, she repeated his name again. "Jay." Something inside her voice felt wrong, like it echoed twice, once human, once not. I thought you." Jay stammered. "Where's Luke?" "Nick?" "Amber." She tilted her head slowly, the same jerky motion the beast had made before. "They're here." Jay turned, scanning the fog. He could hear faint murmurs, voices that sounded like his friends, whispering from every direction. But when he looked closer, he saw faces carved into the roots of the ancient tree. Dozens of them. Hundreds. Their eyes glistened wetly, as if alive. "Maya," he said, voice trembling. That's not you." She smiled wider. But it could be. It could be all of us. Her skin rippled. For a moment, Jay saw her human face. Then beneath it, fur, teeth, and a glint of animal hunger. The transformation wasn't clean. It was fluid, shifting, wrong, like melting wax reforming into something monstrous. "Stay back," Jay shouted. He grabbed a burning branch from the ground, swinging it wildly. The light illuminated her eyes, not amber anymore, but glowing red like burning coal. She hissed, a sound not meant for human lungs, and vanished into the mist. Jay ran toward the tree. He didn't know why. Maybe because the whispers from its roots seemed to be calling his name, guiding him. "Jay? Jay." He touched the bark. It was warm. Beneath the rough texture, he could feel a pulse, steady, ancient, alive. A voice spoke, not from outside, but inside his head. "She is bound by the circle of the forest. The curse keeps her here. To break it, the blood of the lost must return." Jay gasped and stumbled back. "Who are you? The one who made her?" The air trembled. The mist swirled faster, forming a vague shape, a tall figure draped in what looked like roots and leaves. Its face was hidden behind a mask carved from wood, split down the center. "You made the wolf?" Jay asked, barely breathing. "I made her to protect this land," the voice said, resonant, echoing in 100 tones. But protection turned to obsession. Obsession turned to hunger. Now she hunts not to defend, but to remember. Jay stared. Remember what? The figure's head tilted toward the glowing tree. What it feels like to be alive. Suddenly, the roots beneath Jay's feet shifted, twisting upward like serpents. He fell, barely managing to roll aside as the ground erupted. From the soil, shapes began to emerge. Bones, armor, fragments of ancient stone carved with runes. The forest groaned, alive and restless. And then, the wolf returned. Not Maya, not even the hybrid form from before. This time, she was full beast, towering, spectral, fur like molten silver, and eyes burning with sorrow and fury. She roared, the sound of centuries breaking open. Birds scattered from miles away. Trees bent. The mist exploded outward. Jay froze. He could see her now clearly. For the first time, her fur was not fur but strands of mist woven with light. Her body shimmered between shapes. Woman, beast, shadow, ghost. The masked figure turned toward her. "Your curse binds you still, guardian of the grove." The wolf's growl shook the ground. "You made me this way." The figure's voice softened. "And now, only you can unmake yourself." Jay shouted, "Stop. She's killing people." The beast's gaze snapped to him. The trees behind her bent under invisible pressure. "They came here. They broke the seal." "What seal?" Jay cried. "The seal that keeps me from leaving." For the first time, her voice faltered. Beneath the growl was pain, deep, buried, endless. Jay took a shaky step forward. "You're trapped here." She nodded, slowly, like a confession she'd held for 1,000 years. "Every scream, every death, keeps me alive. But every one of them also keeps me here," the masked figure whispered. "And so the forest feeds itself." The wolf turned on it, roaring. "You said I would protect this land, not become its curse." Her claws tore through the ground, roots snapping like bones. The figure dissolved into mist, its final words echoing. "Freedom has always demanded blood." Then, silence. Jay's torch flickered and died. He was alone again. Only the glowing tree and the distant sound of water remained. But now, the whispers had changed. They were calling not her name, but his. Jay. The forest had chosen a new voice. The rain began without warning, thin, icy needles falling from a bruised sky. Jay stumbled through the dripping woods, his flashlight flickering weakly. Every sound, every branch that cracked, made his heart jump. Somewhere behind him, the wolf's howl rolled through the forest like thunder. It wasn't rage this time. It sounded mournful. He stopped under a fallen log, catching his breath. His shirt was torn, his hands streaked with mud and blood. His phone was dead. His friends were gone. And now the forest, ancient, alive, whispering, was watching him. The voices returned, quieter now, threading through the rain. Blood for blood, to end the circle. Jay's mind raced. The masked spirit's words echoed. Freedom has always demanded blood. He pulled a knife from his bag, one of the camping tools Amber had packed. Its edge caught a stray flash of lightning. He didn't want to believe it, but some part of him already knew. To stop this curse, something had to die. High voltage, the memory in the rain. The ground beneath his feet began to shimmer, lines glowing faintly through the mud. He realized he was standing in the middle of a pattern, a massive ring carved into the earth, stretching for dozens of meters. It wasn't natural. It was ancient, runes and sigils forming an enormous blood circle. He knelt beside it. In the center, buried halfway in the mud, lay an old pendant. He brushed it clean, a silver disc engraved with a crescent moon and a wolf's head. He'd seen it before, around Maya's neck, when she was still human. As his fingers touched the pendant, the world shifted. The forest dissolved. The air shimmered. He was standing in a memory. The trees were younger, the moon brighter, and there she was, the woman before the curse, long hair like black silk, eyes filled with kindness instead of rage. She stood at the center of the circle, surrounded by cloaked figures chanting in a forgotten tongue. An old priest raised his hands, voice trembling. Guardian of the grove, protector of the wild, take this form and defend our land from the sky demons. Jay's breath caught. The spell was being cast, the one that created her. But as the ritual intensified, he saw her expression change. Fear. Real fear. She tried to step back, but the circle flared red, trapping her in place. The priest's words grew frantic. By blood and bone, by death and dawn, you are bound to the forest until the last trespasser falls. Maya screamed. Her body convulsed. Bones cracked. Flesh twisted. The transformation wasn't glorious, it was agony. The villagers recoiled as her limbs stretched, fur erupted, and her eyes burned gold. When she looked up again, she wasn't human anymore. Jay fell to his knees, gripping his head as the memory tore apart in flashes of red and black. He heard her voice, distant, broken, whispering. They made me a weapon, then feared me for what I became. The world snapped back. The forest was dark again, the rain heavier. Full moon, the return of the beast. A low growl came from behind. Jay turned. The wolf stood there, half in shadow, half in moonlight. Her fur dripped with rain, glowing faintly where it touched the light. You saw it, she said, voice layered, part human, part something else. You saw what they did. Jay nodded, trembling. They cursed you. Her gaze fell to the pendant in his hand. They made me, and now I am all that remains of them. Their blood, their sins. Why keep killing? Jay asked, stepping closer. You can end this. Her eyes flickered, gold to red to gold again. I can't leave this forest, she said softly. The circle keeps me bound. Only when blood fills it again will the curse end. Jay's stomach turned. You mean someone has to die? The wind howled. The trees leaned inward. Yes, she whispered. Someone pure. Someone who walks into the circle by choice. Jay swallowed hard. He knew what she meant. He looked down at the pendant. Its surface pulsed faintly, reacting to his heartbeat. Why me? He asked. Because you didn't run, she said. You stayed when the others screamed. For a moment, silence stretched between them, a strange calm after the storm. Then she turned, glancing toward the deeper forest. The blood circle waits. Her body began to shimmer, the fur melting away, her shape softening. Within seconds, she was Maya again, drenched, barefoot, human. She extended her hand. Come. Jay stared at her hand, the one that had killed, the one that had saved him. And then, slowly, he took it. Together, they walked into the heart of the forest, toward the glowing circle where her curse had begun. And above them, the moon turned red once more. The rain had stopped, but the forest hadn't grown quiet. It breathed. It listened. Every tree leaned toward the blood circle, as though the land itself was waiting for something ancient to begin again. Jay stood beside Maya, now fully human, or at least wearing the illusion of it. Her hair clung to her face, her breath visible in the cold night air. The glow from the circle painted her skin in pale crimson light, and for a moment, she looked more like a ghost than a woman. This is where it ends, she said softly. Where it always ends. Jay looked at the circle's center, still glowing faintly from the old symbols carved into the soil. The pendant in his palm throbbed like a heartbeat. Tell me what to do, he whispered. Maya tilted her head, studying him as though she couldn't quite believe what she was about to say. You'll have to give me your blood, she said. Not much. Just enough to awaken the bond that keeps me here. Once it opens, I can try to end it. Her eyes flicked toward the forest shadows, where faint shapes moved, whispering voices of the long-dead villagers. But it could go wrong, she added. If your blood isn't strong enough, the forest will take you instead. Jay smiled faintly, a hollow, broken smile. Then at least I won't die running. High voltage, the awakening. Maya took a small bone dagger from a leather pouch tied around her thigh. The blade shimmered, etched with symbols that pulsed like veins of fire. She handed it to him. Cut your palm. Drop it into the circle. Jay hesitated, then drew the blade across his skin. The sting was sharp, clean. Blood dripped onto the earth, sizzling as it hit the runes. The entire forest shuddered. Lightning forked through the clouds, but no thunder followed, only a deep, echoing hum that seemed to come from beneath the ground. The symbols flared, spreading outward like living veins. And then, something ancient woke up. A roar shook the trees. It wasn't Maya's voice, it was deeper, older, monstrous. The ground split open, revealing an enormous wolf skull buried in the roots, its hollow eye sockets burning red. Jay stumbled back. What is that? Maya didn't answer. Her body convulsed, her veins darkening, eyes blazing like molten gold. The spirit of the first guardian, she gasped. It's inside me. It's what the villagers summoned long ago. I've carried it ever since. The skull began to rise, roots snapping, soil spraying. The very forest seemed to resist it, groaning as branches tore apart. Jay shielded his face as the air turned hot, the ground vibrating. Maya screamed. Her voice blended with the roar, half human, half beast. The transformation was violent, uncontrolled. Her skin tore, bones shifted, fur erupted across her back. In moments, the gentle human form was gone. Where she stood now was something enormous. A wolf goddess, glowing with a terrible, ancient beauty. Full moon, the forest remembers. Jay stared in awe as the creature's breath misted in the cold air, its fur flickering between silver and black like shifting shadows. "Maya," he whispered. The beast turned its head slowly. Her eyes, gold and full of pain, met his. "You must finish it," she said, her voice layered with echoes of countless others. "The curse is bound to the circle. Destroy it." "But how?" Jay shouted over the rising wind. She nodded toward the pendant hanging around his neck. "That symbol, it's the anchor. The villager's last sin." The forest screamed, a chorus of wailing spirits filling the air. Trees bent inward, their bark cracking, their branches clawing toward Jay. He grabbed the pendant, feeling it burn against his chest. The ground beneath him glowed red, runes expanding in all directions. Suddenly, hands burst from the soil, spectral, translucent, grasping at his legs. The dead villagers, their faces twisted in guilt. They whispered, "Do not break the circle, or we all return." Jay gritted his teeth. "Then maybe it's time you did." He ripped the pendant from his neck and threw it into the circle. The moment it struck the earth, a column of red light erupted, piercing the clouds. Maya let out a final, thunderous roar, part rage, part release. The forest exploded in light. Jay was thrown backward, blinded by the shockwave. When the light faded, he saw the beast, Maya, standing at the center of the circle. Her eyes softened. "It's over," she whispered. For now. The glow dimmed. The blood circle cracked and turned to ash. And then, silence. Only the faint hum of rain returning. Jay looked up. The giant wolf was gone. In her place, a woman lay still, her body pale and calm, a faint smile on her lips, finally free. But the pendant, it was gone, swallowed by the earth. New moon, the last whisper. Jay sat beside her, staring into the mist that rolled through the trees. The night felt empty, but not peaceful. Somewhere in the distance, a faint echo of a howl drifted through the forest. He closed his eyes. For a second, he could almost hear her voice. "Remember me, when the moon turns red again." Jay looked up. The moon, pale moments ago, had begun to shift, bleeding softly into crimson. His heart pounded. He didn't know if she was truly gone, or just sleeping beneath the roots. Either way, the forest wasn't done with him yet. He rose slowly, walking deeper into the fog, as if answering a call only he could hear. The mist hung low over the ruins of the blood circle, whispering in tongues that had no words. Jay's boots sank into the soft, damp soil as he took slow, careful steps, not out of fear, but reverence. Every branch seemed to bend toward him. Every leaf trembled as if it recognized the scent of Maya's blood still clinging to his skin. The forest was alive, and now it knew his name. Fog, the voice beneath the roots. Hours passed, or maybe it was days. Jay wandered deeper until the trees thickened into black pillars, their bark veined with faint red light. The air grew heavy, and the sound of dripping water echoed like footsteps behind him. "Who's there?" he called, his voice cracking. No reply, only the forest breathing back. He pressed a hand against one of the trees and felt it pulse. A heartbeat, slow, ancient. Then, beneath that rhythm, came a whisper, a woman's voice. "Jay, you shouldn't have broken the circle." He froze. "Maya," the whisper trembled. "You freed me, but you freed them too." The forest floor rippled, and from the soil rose faint shapes. Men, women, and children made of mist and ash, their eyes hollow but glowing with memory. They drifted soundlessly, their movements graceful and sad, like lost smoke searching for the wind. Jay stepped back, his chest tightening. "What do you want from me?" One of the ghosts turned its hollow gaze toward him. "To finish what was never finished. Fire the memory of the fire." The air shimmered, and suddenly, Jay was no longer standing in the mist. He stood in the past. The forest burned around him, flames licking the sky. Screaming villagers ran between collapsing huts. At the center of it all, the same red circle, glowing brighter than ever. And beside it, Maya, chained to a stone pillar, her body marked with runes, eyes wide with fury. A hooded elder raised his arms. "The serpent goddess must sleep. Her blood shall seal the soil." Jay watched in horror as they plunged their blades into the circle, chanting her name as a curse. He could feel her pain, as if it were happening inside his chest. "Maya," he whispered. The scene shifted, and the same elder turned toward Jay, as though he could see him through time. "Your blood now binds you, boy," the elder's voice thundered. The forest remembers both the sinner and the savior. The vision cracked, the fire collapsing into darkness. Full moon, the breath returns. Jay stumbled back into the present, gasping. The mist thickened around him, and from within it, the faint outline of Maya appeared. She wasn't solid, a spirit formed from starlight and shadow. "Maya," he said again, reaching out. Her eyes were calm now. "You saw it," she whispered. "The truth of what they did. They sacrificed you," he said. "They used you." She smiled faintly. "No, I chose it. To keep them safe, until they forgot what they were running from." Her gaze drifted upward to the canopy. "But the curse feeds on memory. And now, because of you, it remembers again." Jay's fists clenched. "Then tell me how to stop it." Maya looked at him sadly. "You can't stop it," she said. "But you can become its keeper." Crossed towards the keeper's mark. The ground opened beneath Jay's feet, roots twisted around his ankles, glowing red. Maya stepped closer, her form flickering like flame. She pressed her hand against his chest, just over his heart. A symbol burned into his skin, the same rune that had once marked her. He screamed as the power surged through him, pain and memory colliding. The forest roared in response, the trees bending toward him like worshippers. When the light faded, Maya was gone, but her voice lingered. "You are now the heart of the forest," she whispered. "When it hungers, you will hear its cry." Jay fell to his knees, gasping for air. Around him, the whispers had changed, no longer mournful, but protective. The spirits bowed as they drifted past him, merging with the mist once more. He looked down at the mark glowing faintly on his chest and realized what she meant. The forest wasn't cursed anymore. It was his. And with every breath he took, it breathed with him. The night was no longer dark, it bled light. Veins of red and violet cracked across the heavens, as though the stars themselves were tearing apart. Jay stood at the heart of the California forest, his forest now, while the sky above him screamed like something alive. The ground trembled under his feet. Trees bent backward, roots clawing the earth like frightened beasts. Something was coming back. From the shattered light above, he saw faces forming, old, godlike, furious. The same celestial beings who had once banished Maya, the keepers of the void. They had returned to reclaim what the forest had stolen. Cloud with lightning, the return of the sky gods. A beam of violet fire struck the forest clearing. From it emerged three towering figures, armor made of starlight and bone. Their eyes were twin eclipses, consuming and endless. The largest one spoke first, his voice like thunder wrapped in silk. "You were never meant to wield her power, mortal." Jay clenched his fists, the rune on his chest burning. "She gave it to me." The being tilted its head. "Then she gave you her curse." Before Jay could respond, the second god extended a hand, and the trees around them ignited in a spiral of flame. The air shook. Animals fled. The entire forest screamed in pain. Jay dropped to one knee, pressing his palms to the earth. "Stop," he shouted. "You'll kill everything." The gods looked down without pity. "That is mercy," said the third, her voice almost beautiful. "This world was never meant to breathe this long." Fire the awakening. The rune pulsed again. Harder. Faster. Jay felt it spreading, crawling up his arms like molten light. He could feel the forest inside him, its roots, its rivers, its every living thing, and it was angry. "You don't belong here," he whispered. And when he raised his head, his eyes glowed the same fierce red as Maya's once had. He stood. The wind roared around him. The god stepped back as the soil cracked open, and from beneath it rose the beast form of the forest itself, colossal, spectral, with a wolf's shape made of branches, mist, and memory. It howled, and the sound shattered clouds. Jay's voice echoed within it, doubled and monstrous. "This is her land." The wolf lunged forward. The god struck back, lightning clashing with shadow, energy tearing the sky in half. For every blow the gods landed, the forest healed itself, feeding on their power. Roots wrapped around their feet, vines dragged them down. Jay felt his body burning, but he didn't stop. He became the forest's fury, the echo of Maya's vengeance reborn in mortal form. High voltage, the last light. Then came the final strike. The largest god, wounded and fading, raised his weapon, a blade of pure cosmic fire. "You are nothing," he hissed. "You are only a shadow pretending to be divine." Jay met his gaze. "Then maybe that's what this world needs." He leapt. The wolf leapt with him, and together they collided with the god in a flash that turned night into day. Silence followed. A silence too wide, too deep. When the light faded, the gods were gone. The wolf dissolved into ash and rain, and Jay stood alone in the clearing, smoke curling around his body. The mark on his chest still burned, but softly now, like a heartbeat in rest. Milky Way, the new keeper. The dawn broke slowly over the ruined forest. Birds hesitated before singing again. The mist lifted, revealing trees still standing, scarred, but alive. Jay watched the sunrise. He didn't smile. He didn't cry. He simply breathed, and the forest breathed with him. For the first time, it was truly free. But deep within the roots, under the soil where Maya once slept, something stirred. A faint whisper, neither cruel nor kind, just eternal. "Sleep well, keeper. The sky will break again."